You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A-N-LA'S, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. All right, fam, let's get into this episode. So look, fam, this is one of those ones. In the world of kind of brace pistols or short barreled rifles, pistol calibered rifle, short barrel rifles, and pistol caliber brace pistols, I always say kind of the holy trinity is kind of the Sig Sauer MPX-K, B&T and their various variants. And maybe the highest grill gun is the HK SP5. So you guys know I have the MPX-K. You guys know I have that B&T SPC-10. The MP5 or some variant thereof have been on my grill gun, my want gun list for so long. And of course, the SP5 is like the civilian version of the MP5, no full auto. That sucks. But yeah, it's been on my grill gun list. One of those, I gotta check that box, I gotta scratch that itch kind of thing. I just had always had other guns that were priorities at this given time, but now was the time. But if you haven't gone and watched my initial impressions video of this gun, definitely go back and check it out. But what we're talking about here, fam, is the H&K Sp5-K, fam. This little historic package is drop dead sexy. Now, this is not the stock configuration. For memorialization's sake, I'll go ahead and I'll put up what the gun looked like when I originally got it. All right, fam, so real quick, let's kind of maybe walk through some of the upgrades that we did to it. We upgraded the muzzle brake on it. We added that VZ grips hand stop. We upgraded the trigger shoe. Of course, I upgraded and added that Acro PT on there on a Reptilla mount. We've got the Rovivon GL5 Pro on there. And of course, we added that J-Mac Customs folding brace. And so this is the gun that you see here now. We also changed out the typical kind of forward handrail and replaced it with this UTG rail that kind of sits on top of it and allows for you to be able to put your red dot on it, laser, and if you wanted to, a light over here. But fam, I can tell you this, you know how you always say your most recent purchase is your favorite purchase? There's a little bit of truth to that definitely on this one. I am loving this gun. I'm kind of mad I waited so long to pick it up. But look, fam, I love the aesthetics of the firearm. I love the historic significance of the firearm. But look, that has nothing to do with how the gun shoots. Let's get into the review. All right, fam, first up, fit and finish. The gun is just really well constructed. HK has a reputation for pulling out very high quality firearms. The MP5/SP5 is no exception to that. And the fact that we've enhanced a lot of what you see here just kind of adds to the overall fit and finish of the firearm. So for fit and finish, the SP5-K, as you see it configured here, we're going to give it a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam, next up, reliability. Look, fam, you can't have a gun be around this long if it's not reliable. I probably got about 1,500 rounds through the gun, and I did that really quick. And no issues whatsoever. No malfunctions, no misfeed, no ejections, faulty ejections. The gun just runs. Run till that. Yeah, reliability, we're going to give it a very solid 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam, next up, durability. Look, fam, the gun's 30 years old. Right, more than 30 years old. I think this gun, I think the MP5 originally came out in like the 70s or 80s. So look, fam, gun design itself has been around a really long time. It has stood the test of time, and the 1,500 rounds that I put it through it here looks brand new. No wear, no tear, no muss, no fuss. We're gonna give durability of 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam, next up, trigger. Look, oh, I had to do that on camera. I have to do that on camera. Look, chat, this is the Achilles heel of the MP5. This is where it starts to show its age. Kind of like when a brother gets to a certain age, the knees start creaking. This trigger, I'm sure back in the day, was outstanding. It was amazing. In 2025, not so much. Now, I did improve the aesthetics of the trigger, but I didn't change out the trigger. Now, what I will say is the serialized portion of this gun is the upper, not the lower. They make different lowers that have, or you can that have Geisley triggers and other triggers in them, and so that may be something I do eventually. But for right now, this, I'll put the trigger weight up there. You're at the wall, so there's no take up. That part is good, but it's a heavy trigger. Reset, kind of a long reset, right? So not, oh, I can't stop doing that. It is not what I am accustomed to historically relative to my triggers, but I will say this, it didn't bother me any. You know, it didn't bother me at all. And so, yeah, trigger though, yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired. We're going to give the trigger an 11 out of a possible 15. All right, fam, next up, accuracy. I found the gun to be very accurate. Now look, fam, this is a little short barrel pistol. I'll go ahead and I'll put up the specs up there so you have it. You're not taking this gun out super long distance. This is kind of meant for very close quarters, CQB type work, home defense type work. For that, it is perfection, in my opinion. Great backpack gun, great truck gun. Yeah, so I guess temper your expectations relative to accuracy, but for a short barreled pistol caliber Pistol, I think it really gets the job done. Accuracy, we're going to give it 8 out of a possible 10. All right, next up, ergonomics. Look, fam, this J-Mac Customs brace is awesome. It's awesome. I love the way aesthetically it looks, but in addition to that, it's just very, very well done. The gun feels really, really good. It's like a perfect size for the task at hand. There's a reason why it's been around for decades now. And then kind of the way I have it set up, yeah, zero complaints about that. Ergonomics, we're going to give it a 9 out of a possible 10. All right, fam, next up, aftermarket support. You know the good thing about having a gun that probably has like a 40, 50-year-old design? There's lots of aftermarket support for it. Tons and tons of aftermarket support for the MP5 and the MP5K /SP5/SP5K, which is why I was able to outfit it the way you see here. If you want to, now it's a pretty penny, but if you want to pick up an SP5K, there's a lot you can do to it to enhance it. Aftermarket support, we're going to give this a 5 out of 5. Next up, maintenance and upkeep. Fam, you know, YouTube doesn't like me to break stuff down, disassemble it and all that, so we won't do that. But I'll just say takedown is relatively simple to take down, simple to keep clean. No muss, no fuss. I had 0 issues. We're going to give maintenance and upkeep 4 out of a possible 5. All right, fam. Next up is affordability. Look, fam, look. You got to pay to play. But here's what I would say. There are a lot of MP5 variants out there that are far less expensive than the real thing. Now, do they run as reliably? Are they as well constructed? I've handled some. I've seen reviews on some. I would say not, probably not, but not bad either. You know, not bad either. I think this is a more reliable platform, a more well-constructed platform than a lot of the clones that are out there. But I don't know if the price differential warrants the improved manufacturing, if you will. And so that's something for you to decide. But I would say that it's not cheap. I'll put the MSRP of the K up there, and then obviously the way I have it constructed here adds a considerable amount of additional price to it. So affordability, we're going to give it a 2 out of a possible 5. All right, fam, last but not least, flex. Is Instagram gonna go crazy? Are your boys gonna be like, damn? Yes, yes. First of all, flexing right out of the box just by the historical significance of the firearm. Flexing right out of the box because you can do the HK slap, right? Flexing right out of the, well, not out of the box, but further flexing by the way you see it laid out here. You know your boy has a skill set when it comes to choosing accessories and putting together a build. Flex points, 5 out of a possible 5. All right, fam, when you add all of that up, you get a very, very, very respectable 86 out of a possible 100. Fam, 86 out of 100 for a 50-year-old gun or 50-year-old design is damn good in my book. I gotta say, fam, I am ecstatic to be able to finally be able to check this box, finally be able to scratch this itch. I love shooting it. I'm gonna put a ton of rounds through this thing. And don't worry, we got a video coming where I bring out the Holy Trinity, where I bring out the B&T, when I bring out the MPHK, and when I bring this one out so they can all go head to head. So make sure you keep your eyes open for that one. All right, fam, that's it for this episode. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.